Hello students, I'm here again to discuss a few extract based questions of the poem I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. So my dear children, I hope you have a good day. Now as far as the extract based questions are concerned, children, you all have your workbooks. So you must do those questions in your workbooks, and I am here to discuss these few questions. They may be similar to your workbook questions, or maybe a few are a little different. So the framing could be different, but answers are more or less the same. So here we go. Now for the first stanza, you can consult your books. You all have your books with you, so you can see the first stanza where it says, a free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. So how does the poet describe the world of nature in these lines? Now in the opening lines, children, the poet describes the world of nature to be beautiful. She further describes its beauty while stating that it is evening and the whole sky is orange in color, with a beautiful sunset accompanying it, making the whole scene breathtaking. So if you are given a question related to how is the nature described in the opening lines, you can do it this way. Next, what does the sun, the sky, the wind symbolize in this stanza? Yes, my dear students. So according to the poet, the sun here symbolizes freedom. The sky symbolizes glory, and the wind symbolizes power in the poem. Third, how is the action of the bird shown to be free and enjoyable? What is it referred to in these lines? Now, the bird described in this stanza is a free bird. A bird which floats freely in the air. The way the poet describes it, as if it leaps from the ground, jumps on the current of the wind and floats freely in the air. So this free bird represents actually the white Americans who are free to do anything, and they do not have to face any racial discrimination. As the free bird here can fly in the sky without any restrictions, so can the white Americans also move around without any restrictions and enjoy the beautiful sunset. Next, how is the free bird a metaphor in the poem? What is meant by the orange sun rays? Now, students, the free bird is a metaphor in the sense that it is used for the white Americans that are not bounded by prejudice and racism, and they can enjoy their life to the fullest, unlike the blacks or the African Americans. And as the free bird can take another flight in the beautiful orange sky, just like the white Americans who can enjoy their freedom. So another part of the question is, what is meant by the orange sun rays? So orange here, my dear children, is actually referring to the setting sun. Okay. And then the next question. How does the caged bird behave? Now, the caged bird is described in the next stanza, but you ought to know the whole poem thoroughly. One after another, what comes in the stanzas you must know. So, the caged bird behaves abnormally and cries like one who has had a nightmare, and it acts like this, just like a person without freedom who always acts abnormally. Why? Because this caged bird behaves in this abnormal manner because she's in a state of captivity, and this state of captivity is quite abnormal. Now we come to the second passage, which is referring to the second stanza. How does a free bird dare to claim the sky? Now the free bird claims the sky as if it is its own, as if it has, and the bird feels that he has the right to do so. The free bird is not restricted in any way. Neither is there anything that is preventing him from doing so. So it can enjoy the freedom. It has no contestants, no competitors, and so it enjoys. So they are here, you can say that the free bird, which is actually representing the whites or the white Americans who claim the biggest right to freedom and enjoy themselves, and they feel that except them nobody can attain that. So the free bird floats effortlessly on the current of the wind. Then, how does the caged bird behave? Now, the caged bird, again, this is a repetition of the same answer we've just discussed, behaves abnormally and cries like the one who has had a nightmare. Or the cries of this caged bird. The cries of the caged bird, they are like those of someone having a nightmare. He's in a state of captivity. So, is his state of captivity normal? No, his state of captivity is not normal, as it is a living being, and a living being should not be kept in captivity without any viable reason. It is a crime to restrict freedom to any living being. Living beings are meant to explore, enjoy life, and most importantly, enjoy freedom. So we could say that the state of captivity of the caged bird is not normal. What is meant by bars of rage? Now, the bars of rage, this phrase stands for the bars of the cage that the bird is kept in. It is angry and is screaming in agony due to not being able to fly and enjoy the things that the free bird can. This is the reason why his cage is being referred to as bars of rage. Rage here means anger. So the bird is imprisoned, and therefore he is filled with rage or anger. He is furious and he is helpless. So under what circumstances does the caged bird sing? Now, from the stanza, you can make out that the caged bird is actually shown here to be afraid of many unknown dangers of freedom. It is restricted. The restrictions are actually here referred to the restrictions on the life of the caged bird, because it is captivated in a cage. Its wings are clipped or trimmed, you could say. Now, this is denoting that the caged bird's enslavement has been done, and this can be represented through his wings that are clipped and his feet are tied. So he is actually completely helpless. So these are the circumstances, that his feet are tied, his wings are clipped, he is captured in a narrow cage, means he's got those restrictions on his life, he is imprisoned. So these are the circumstances under which the caged bird sings, because it doesn't give up his struggle for freedom, and so he continues to sing. Now, the third stanza. The free bird thinks. It starts from there. This is the third extract actually, but in the poem it is the stanza which says, the free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. So, as the question goes, what is meant by sighing trees? Now, sighing trees is here actually referring to the sound which is produced when strong winds blow through the trees, through the leaves and the branches of the trees. So the poet has actually used personification here, because only the human beings, the living beings, they sigh, and here the trees are supposed to be sighing. So this is referring to the free people who oppress the helpless or the caged people who struggle for freedom from the social, economic and political powers that are possessed by the independent or the free people. Next, what is represented by the phrase another breeze? Now, another breeze here refers to some more freedom, and this is the freedom that the free bird is looking for. He selfishly wishes for some more freedom for himself. So that is what is meant by another breeze. Why does the free bird think of another breeze? Now, you could say that the free bird is actually greedy, has already got such a lot of freedom, can easily fly, float on the downstream of the wind, and fly freely anywhere in the sky and enjoy the orange sun rays. But still, it is looking for some more freedom. And that is the reason that the free bird thinks of another breeze. It wants to just go on enjoying. And moreover, because there are no other birds to contest with him, to compete with him, so he can easily think of another breeze, some more freedom. The whole sky seems to be his. Third, what do the trade winds symbolize? Now, the trade winds. So, my dear children, as you've already studied in geography about the trade winds, alright, so the trade winds are those strong winds that blow all the time towards the equator and then to the west. So here the trade winds are actually symbolizing the strong winds or the circumstances which don't deter or which cannot So the trade winds are actually referring to the free bird. Just like the strong trade winds, the free bird is strong enough and can float and fly freely in the sky. Why does the free bird name the sky his own? Now the free bird calls the sky his own because there are no other birds to compete with him, to contest with him. So, the free bird calls the sky his own, as if he is the king of the whole universe. He has the unlimited freedom. Opportunities are always present at the hands of the free bird. It doesn't need anybody else's mercy. So, he calls the sky his own. Now, what is the significance of the following expression? Fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn. Now, the expression which can be understood from this line here is that opportunities are always present at the hands of the free bird. He even doesn't have to find food here and there. He gets anything and everything at will. In other words, students, this is indicative of the privilege that the white people of America enjoyed over the African Americans, who used to lead their lives like the caged bird in the poem. So this is the significance of this expression. So you can underline the words fat worms and you can write opportunities and advantages. And bright lawn here means endless possibilities of a free bird. Dawn refers to the time of sunrise. Next, the first stanza. The caged bird sings. This is the fourth extract. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill. For the caged bird sings of freedom. Now, what song is the caged bird singing? The caged bird is singing a song of freedom. And why? Yes, my dear students, the caged bird is singing a song of freedom because he wants to be freed from the narrow cage. He wants to go out and enjoy the freedom. He wants to be like the free bird. So, although he cannot go out, but still he urges to. Although he's totally enslaved and his wings are clipped, his feet are tied, but still he's struggling hard. So he sings a song of freedoms, in order to get freedom. And this song is about the unknown freedom. He doesn't know when this freedom will come or if it will come or not, but he sings. Why does the caged bird sing of things unknown? This is what I've just told you, that he sings of the things unknown, means here the unknown freedom, because he doesn't know when he is going to get freedom. He's been captivated there for so long. Explain the line. His tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Now, his tune is heard, his song can be heard on the hill far away. Means his song of freedom can be heard far and wide. For the caged bird sings of freedom. Because the caged bird, he is singing of freedom. He sings of hope, and he wants to inspire others. And his song, which is full of hope and inspiration, is loud enough or is strong enough to be heard from a long distance. So, this is how you will explain the lines. What is meant by fearful trill? Now, fearful trill. Trill is actually a sound which is produced in an unsteady way, especially because you're afraid or nervous. So it is fearful because the caged bird is quite fearful, quite scared. And since its feet are tied, its wings are clipped, it is in a state of fear. So the voice of the caged bird is also fearful. Next, throw light on the life of the African Americans and their struggle. Now, my dear students, the whole poem, it's based on this theme itself, the African Americans and their struggle. Actually, in the previous videos, I've explained to you about the life of Maya Angelou, and she also suffered a life of oppression. She had to face a lot of racism and even physical assault at an early age, which terrorized her so much that even she was mute for 5 years, which obviously forced her to take up this poem and to write about this caged bird. So the life of the caged bird actually represents the life of Maya Angelou. The comparison of the bird and Angelou is quite clear here. Now, at that time, until 1965, under a system of racial segregation known as Jim Crow in the southern United States, African Americans lived in poverty. They were denied the right to vote, to organize a meeting, or to gather together. Owing to the color of their skin, they were not allowed to use the same transport, public toilets, or to study in the same school as the whites. So this caged bird represents this community that was prevented from social, religious, and cultural freedom on account of the color of their skin. And the caged bird could not fly anywhere at his own will and choice, just as the African Americans also had foundations. Now, the In legal theory, African Americans, they received separate but equal treatment. But in actuality, the status of African Americans was nearly always inferior to that of the whites. Now, the caged bird sings of freedom, which is paralleled to the African Americans' struggle in Angelou's time. The African Americans wrote and sang and cried out for their freedom that they deserved, but they were heard only as a distant voice. So, students, the poet Maya Angelou in the poem becomes the mouthpiece of our entire African American community to portray or to picturize the inhuman treatment meted out to them. So this is how you can describe the life of the African Americans and their struggle. So my dear students, this is all for today. There is an assignment attached to this. So please do all your workbook question and answers and also do the assignment work. Thank you.